This Polish man met aliens from Venus and took photos of their UFO. Most people interested in UFOs are aware of the existence of varying degrees of encounters with aliens. However, few people know that several decades ago, the first documented meeting of the fifth grade took place. One man claimed that not only he had seen UFOs but also met aliens. This event was witnessed by George Adamski, a Polish born in Bydgoszcz with American citizenship. According to many people, he was a really unique case, even by the standards of early ufology. His entire UFO adventure began on October 9, 1946, when during a meteor shower Adamski and a group of his friends saw a huge cigar-shaped spaceship. The man even managed to photograph a strange object. However, his interest in the subject of UFOs flourished only 3 years after that. Some skeptics have noted that at that time, there were several well-known UFO sightings, such as the observation of Kenneth Arnold over Mount Rainier and the crash of a flying disc near Roswell, New Mexico, which could arouse Adamski's imagination. However, he finally decided to talk about what he had seen. Adamski claimed that had managed to make contact with aliens. This happened for the first time on November 20, 1952. Adamski and his friends were near the city of the Desert Center in the middle of the Colorado Desert. Suddenly, they saw a strange aerial object floating in the sky. At some point, Adamski felt that the alien ship had arrived there because of him, and that's why he headed to the landing site of the UFO. Soon after that, a pilot got out of the UFO, introduced himself by the name of Orthan, and stated that he was a native of the planet Venus. Of course, all this could be considered a simple hallucination, but the whole incident was observed from afar by friends of Adamski. However, the most interesting element of this whole story is the appearance of that alien. According to Adamski's description, the creature he met was a medium-sized humanoid with long blonde hair and tanned skin. In addition to height, all of the above signs coincide with alien species known as Nordic. Moreover, according to Adamski's story, as in the case of the Norwegians, Orthan communicated with him through telepathy, and his very presence evoked in him a warm embrace of great love and wisdom. The alien had to tell Adamski about the dangers of nuclear weapons and the conflict they could cause. The next contact between Orthan and Adamski was to take place on December 13 of that year. At that time, Orthan handed him a previously borrowed photographic plate, which he filled with strange alien characters, which were supposed to be a message from the alien. However, the most important of all the elements of this meeting was a photograph taken by Adamski immediately after a conversation with Orthan. We can say that this was of epoch-making significance because when thinking about flying saucers, most of us have in mind a form immortalized by Adamski. Of course, as is usually the case, Adamski was not perfect when it comes to a UFO witness. Although Adamski was not the first American to claim that he had encountered an extraterrestrial, he was the first to make his account public, and subsequently gained the most notoriety as a contactee. In the ensuing decades, countless individuals would follow in his footsteps, recounting their own stories of what Hynek from Project Blue Book famously identified as close encounters of the third kind. The restaurant where he was employed gained popularity among tourists after he became famous. In 1953, Edward J. Ruppelt, who was leading Project Blue Book, visited the restaurant incognito and found Adamski selling copies of his UFO photographs while captivating his audience. Ruppelt was convinced by Adamski's story and demeanor, stating in his book The Report on Unidentified Flying Objects, 1956, that Adamski had the most honest pair of eyes I've ever seen and that listening to him made one want to believe his story. While Ruppelt clearly didn't believe him, he was impressed all the same. As I left, he was graciously filling people in on more details and the cash register was merrily ringing up saucer picture sales. During his visit to Adamski's restaurant, Hynek was accompanied by some fellow astronomers. Despite attempting to discuss scientific topics with Adamski, Hynek remembered that Adamski was only interested in promoting and selling his photos. His lectures were not the most objective, and his theses on aliens living on all planets of the solar system did not arouse any sympathy among the scientific community and, even surprisingly, among the ufologists who claimed that his stories ridicule all ufology. Adamski's book, Flying Saucers Have Landed, became a bestseller and sparked widespread interest in UFOs. Despite his popularity, Adamski's claims were widely criticized by scientists and skeptics who accused him of being a con artist and discrediting serious UFO research. In 1965, Adamski predicted that a fleet of flying saucers would descend on Washington, D.C., but he died before the event could take place. His critics continue to view him as a harmless crackpot, while others, such as J. Allen Hynek and Arthur C. Clarke, accused him of damaging the credibility of the UFO research field. Despite this, Adamski remained steadfast in his beliefs until his death, urging people to be friendly and welcome the beings from other worlds he claimed were among us. The problem is that it is hard to say if everything he was talking about was a lie or if it was a sign of mental illness. If so, is the strange relationship between the alien seen by Adamski and the Norwegians observed around the world just a coincidence? Leave us your thoughts in the comments section.